Wednesday, 16th of April, 12:20. So yesterday you put the wood chip on the floor. It's in here, and I've also done it outside as well, and all around the edges. Right, this is sort of like evidence that I need psychological help or some kind, because these are my cherry tomatoes, and these are my sort of like signature crop of the year, in that I put them in planters in the front garden and everyone admires them and that. So I think I sowed these just over 3 weeks ago, and they should have been the first thing that I worked on either on Sunday evening or Monday, but I didn't. I worked on this polytunnel instead and a couple of other things. And it's time for pricking out, and these are like the largest tomatoes I've ever had to prick out. Luckily one of them, the Sunstripe, only one of the 5 germinated, so that one's going to be quite easy to prick out. And these nearly died of lack of water a couple of days ago. I didn't actually water them until Monday evening, so I think some of them did actually die, and some of them still aren't actually looking all that healthy, the Rosetto and the Lizana. So these are the ones that I grow every single year. So, this is my main vegetable event of the year, and I've nearly let them die, and I've taken ages to prick them out. And also, part of it was because I worked 8 days in a row. Now, one of my bosses at work, she's very careful with me. She says, "Oh, can you do this overtime shift, or can you do that overtime shift?" But what happened a couple of weeks ago was, because she was away on holiday, another one of the bosses, she just gave me a shit paper saying, "Oh, I'm giving you first refusal on all the shifts that are still available." So I said yes to all of them. So that's why I ended up working 8 days in a row. So it's my own fault, and I knew it was happening in the middle of the sowing and pricking out season. So it was like self-inflicted. But part of it's because, like, the DWP was been saying that because we didn't do any overtime in January or February, that I need to do more to look for work. So I think that also had an influence. So this is what I'm going to be working on this afternoon. I've got a housemate who's keen to join in, and he's available from 4 o'clock, which is useful for me because that's when the horse race finishes. So that's when I'll be starting to work again in the garden. So I'm going to get him to sow the marrows and courgettes and whatever, and then I can just potter around tidying other things up about the place. So I think these peppers here, it's only getting down to 4 Celsius tonight, so I'm going to keep them in this polytunnel rather than put them back in the other polytunnel, even though it'll be a couple of degrees warmer in there because of the thermal mass. And the main reason I moved these peppers in here was create room in the other polytunnel. So I finally finished the watering there this morning because I had more space to manoeuvre plants around and tell what had been watered and what hadn't. Some other things. This is what I sowed these about a fortnight ago, about the same time as I sowed the final lot of tomatoes, the vining ones. So we've got Cape Gooseberry, Cosmos Easy, Carnation, Livingston Daisy, Cornflower, Aster, Needle Aster, whatever that is. That hasn't germinated. And Nemesia hasn't germinated. I'm assuming that because that's germinated, that's a weed. But I think that little thing there, I think that's a Nemesia. I used to grow these God, 40 years ago. And the clary, I've never actually grown these before. They've got like short hairy legs. and then as these are red, you can tell they're amaranthus. I did actually buy another shelving unit to put up yesterday. This is a bit of a funny story. It's like in the middle of March during the Cheltenham Festival, at Halfords, these shelving units were reduced from £32 to £29. And then when we went there yesterday afternoon, it was like reduced to £29 from £32 again. But rather than it actually being on sale for that whole month, what's happened is that this is a new sale for Easter. So I found that funny. So the one I've got in the house, it's the stronger version, the 225 kilogram weight. And that's the one in that I've got in my bedroom is the vertical one like that. But I'm thinking of putting it horizontally here, because you know I like raising things off the ground. And I think these are two. I think these are two separate things. I can't actually see how that bit and that bit gets connected. So I think they're just two separate things, which is that's okay. That's actually probably better. So, but the funny thing is that I came across this down the road. It's like 50 yards away from the house, and it was free. So because I picked up this little unit, I'm using it as an excuse to put off for another day putting that unit together. I'm not quite sure how useful this is going to be, but at least I can put my cup of tea on it, which I think most volunteers will think is a good thing. It's got casters on it, so it's not all that stable, but because it's like embedded in the wood chips, I think that makes it more stable. Yeah, so I've got my pots here, so I've got my station here, somewhere potting table, seat, compost, perlite. I don't have any fish blood and bones, but we'll just have to manage without. Pots, water. We've got labels down there as well, if I decide to use them. So that's it, pricking out of my cherry tomatoes, commencing now.